Boundaries. Who wants to grow up to be a parent who has to set boundaries? Years ago, when my oldest daughter was 4 years old, she announced happily, "When I grow up, I'm going to be a mommy." And I said, "Oh, like me?" And she said, "No, I'm going to be a super mommy. I'm going to always be nice, and I'm going to let my kids eat all the candy they want to, and I'm going to let them watch all the TV that they want to." Well, that little girl has grown up and now has 3 children of her own. And she tells me, "Mom, I hate telling them no. I don't want them to grow up to be brats, and I want them to grow up to be healthy, but I'm having a hard time saying no," which of course makes me laugh. Nobody wants to be the wicked witch. Nobody wants to be the spoil sport or the one that ruins the fun with that horrible no word. It's not fun to set the boundaries, but it's an important part of being a parent. When a child comes into the world, they are totally reliant on you. A child can't even provide for his or her own needs. And so we do all the feeding. We make all the decisions. Choices get a little trickier and trickier as time goes on. It's not up to the child to know what clothes they should be wearing, when their bedtime is, or what they should be eating. That is a parent's job. You have the responsibility to say no to things that aren't good for your child, whether that be liquid Drano or too much sugar. That's your job as the parent. When your child becomes a teenager, just because they look like an adult, they're not an adult. You still need to set boundaries. And instead of feeling like you are the bad guy setting the boundary, you need to realize that you are the one keeping your child safe. In this life, when you become the parent, you're kind of like the driver's ed teacher. And your child is learning how to drive a car. The older they get, the more likely they'll want to take control of the steering wheel, but you should still have a brake on the passenger side to help them learn how to drive their own car or their own lives. Your job as the parent is to know when to apply the brakes. Kids want you to set boundaries. They feel safer if you set boundaries. When I would get upset with my kids because it was never enough, they were just trying to find out where the boundary was. Kids want to know that you will respond when they misbehave. Kids don't understand when they're out of control what's going on. They need to feel like you are in control, that you know when enough is enough. When they ask for more and more and more, they're trying to find out where that boundary is, and that is your job. Just like younger children, teenagers want to know where their boundaries are. Teens who don't know where the level is will push and push and push, and sometimes get out of control, hoping that somebody else will push on that brake. If you're nervous to say no, let me put your fears really aside. Research has shown that those teens who have permissive parents, whether the parents are permissive because they don't want to say no, or they're neglectful, or they're just hesitant to step in, those teens are more likely to have problems with substance abuse and misbehavior in school than are teens whose parents have set firm boundaries, who aren't afraid to say no. In fact, it doesn't even matter if the teens rebel against you saying no. The point is that the parents have given them a consistent, persistent boundary, and the kids know where they stand. So on those days when you feel like the mean mom or the mean dad because you're setting the boundary, pat yourself on the back. You're being a really good driver's ed teacher. And don't expect your toddlers or your teens to thank you when you say no. That's not part of the gig. As a parent, your job is to have the backbone and the ability to pat yourself on the back when you do it right. That's what being a parent is. It's keeping control of that brake until that child has the ability to drive the car themselves. Hang in there, all you parents. All my love.